Hi, I'm Shannon, one of the librarians here at Naperville Public Library, and today we're going to talk about small town cinema, the little towns you've never been to except at the movies. From indie films to horror movies, comedies to classics, many movies have a small town as the setting. Let's take a look at some small town cinema across America, then spotlight some genre and international films shot and set in small towns. So the first thing we're going to look at is America, east to west. And we'll start with Edgerton, Massachusetts. Beware of sharks. This town on the eastern edge of Martha's Vineyard was the main shooting location for Amity, the town in Steven Spielberg's 1975 film Jaws about a man-eating great white shark. Edgerton was a whaling port, and many of its houses have ornate widows' walks on the top floor, supposedly used by wives of sailors to look out to sea and spot when the boats were coming into the harbor. As to the question of whether sharks actually live off of Martha's Vineyard, they do. Their major prey is seals, so avoid swimming near seals, don't swim at dawn or at dusk, avoid swimming in isolated groups, and don't wear shiny jewelry, according to Shark Smart information put out by Martha's Vineyard trustees. Next, we have Mystic, Connecticut, and this village, with one of the largest maritime museums in the United States, is a major tourism destination in New England. It was also the setting for the 1988 film Mystic Pizza, which is considered Julia Roberts' first critical success and was Matt Damon's film debut. Steven Spielberg also filmed scenes for his 1997 film Amistad at Mystic Seaport, which houses many preserved sailing ships. Next, we have Leonardo, New Jersey. Director Kevin Smith filmed and set his low-budget debut Clerks, now a 90s cult classic, at the convenience store and video store where he worked. The storyline of the shutters being stuck came about because they had to film at night after the stores were closed. The Quick Stop at 58 Leonardo Avenue is still open, though RTS Video has since closed. Leonardo was also the site of an Ajax missile exploding in the U.S. Nike missile program in 1958, killing 10 people. Project Nike was shut down in 1974, and the launch base has been redeveloped into single-family homes. Then we have Seaside, Florida, and I love that their population is 1,228, including cats and dogs. This unincorporated master-planned community was the filming location for the 1998 movie The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey, which is set on fictional Sea Haven Island. Seaside is on Florida's Panhandle and is a private community developed in the style of urban planning called New Urbanism, which came about in the 1980s and incorporated walkable neighborhoods. Seaside's homes have no front lawns, with only native plants being used for landscaping, so the yard of Truman's house was given a carpet of Kentucky bluegrass for him to mow by set designers. Then we have Woodstock, Illinois. You might have been to Woodstock due to its proximity. It's only an hour and a half away from Naperville. The 1993 film Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray, was filmed here, even though the movie is supposed to be set in Pennsylvania. You can stay at the Cherry Tree Inn B&B, known formerly as the Royal Victorian Hotel, but the Grand Pennsylvanian Hotel was actually shot at the Woodstock Opera House. Plan your trip for next February when the town has its annual Groundhog Days weekend, and be sure to look for the Bill Murray Stepped Here plaque downtown. And then we have Dyersville, Iowa. Field of Dreams is a 1989 film starring Kevin Costner as an Iowa farmer. He follows the prompting of a voice coming out of his cornfield telling him, "If you build it, he will come," and creates a baseball field at which the ghosts of famous ball players come to play. The film was adapted from the 1982 novel Shoeless Joe by W.P. Kinsella and was shot in Dyersville, Iowa, on a family farm. The baseball diamond was built for the set and still exists there. Visitors can tour the house and even rent the venue for events like weddings or private ball games. Then we have Waxahachie, Texas. This town outside Dallas was the shooting location for over 30 films, including several Academy Award winners. Part of the 1967 movie Bonnie and Clyde, about the team of robbers Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow, was filmed here. The screenwriter Robert Benton was a native of Waxahachie. Benton returned to his former hometown to write and direct the 1985 film Places in the Heart, for which Sally Field won the Oscar for Best Actress and Benton himself won for Best Original Screenplay. Tender Mercies was filmed here in 1984, for which Robert Duvall won an Oscar for Best Actor, and it also won for Best Adapted Screenplay. Waxahachie served as the setting for the fictional town of Bountiful, Texas, in the 1986 film The Trip to Bountiful, which won Oscars for Best Actress for Geraldine Page and Best Adapted Screenplay. Then we have Archer City, Texas. Archer City, east of the Texas Panhandle, was the hometown of author Larry McMurtry, and he used it as the basis for his 1966 semi-autobiographical book, The Last Picture Show, which was then turned into a movie in 1971, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. In the book, McMurtry renamed the town Thalia. In the film, it was renamed again as Anarene. The film won 2 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor for Ben Johnson and Best Supporting Actress for Cloris Leachman. Texasville, the 1990 sequel to The Last Picture Show, was also filmed in Archer City. Then we have Kanab, Utah. Kanab was known as Little Hollywood since it was used as a filming location for over 100 films and TV series since 1924, including The Outlaw Josie Wales starring Clint Eastwood, El Dorado starring John Wayne, Broken Arrow starring John Travolta, and Looking Glass starring Nicolas Cage. There is a Little Hollywood movie museum in Kanab currently for sale, with sets from many of the films that were shot there. And then we'll move on to sci-fi and fantasy. We have Laycock, Wiltshire, England. If you can't get into Hogwarts, the next best thing may be to visit Laycock Abbey in Wiltshire, where various scenes set at Hogwarts were filmed for several of the Harry Potter movies. It was also the shooting location for some scenes of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. In addition, many period dramas have been filmed in part at Laycock, including the Downton Abbey movie, the 1995 BBC/A&E Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy, and the 2008 film interpretation of Philippa Gregory's novel The Other Boleyn Girl, starring Scarlett Johansson as Mary Boleyn and Natalie Portman as Anne Boleyn. Then we have Matmata, Tunisia. Star Wars fans may be interested to know that you can in fact visit Luke Skywalker's home on Tatooine. Kind of. The interior of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru Lar's homestead was filmed in a traditional Berber house in Matmata, Tunisia, that is called the Hotel Sidi Driss, and yes, you can stay there. As to the igloo-like exterior, that is about 160 miles away on the dried-up salt lake of Chott el Jeria in Nafta. Some Star Wars fans restored the exterior in 2011 with the blessing of the Tunisian government. Fun fact, if you search Lars family homestead exteriors on Google Maps and switch to satellite view, you will see Luke's house out there in the desert. Then we have Rachel, Nevada, with the population of 54 people. This town lost most of its population after the closing of a tungsten mine in 1988, but its location near Area 51 made it the ideal setting for the 1996 science fiction film Independence Day. 20th Century Fox, who made the film, left a time capsule in Rachel, stating, "This time capsule will serve as a beacon to be opened in the year AD 2050, by which time interplanetary travelers shall be regular guests of our planet Earth." So I guess we'll see. Then we have Lutz, Florida, Tim Burton's 1990 fantasy Edward Scissorhands about a created man with blades for hands who was adopted into the world of a suburban Avon lady was filmed largely in the Tampa suburb of Lutz, Florida. The houses in the Carpenter's Run neighborhood on Tinsmith Circle are real, though they are not in reality painted in the pastels that they were in the film. The topiaries that Edward created were just chicken wire covered with greenery and do not remain today. The Southgate Shopping Center seen in the film, which you can see on the right here, can be found about 30 miles away in Lakeland. And then we have Page, Arizona. With its proximity to 10 national parks, Page, Arizona is a good starting point for those wanting to enjoy the outdoors. But it was also the shooting site for the desert trek in Charlton Heston's 1968 version of The Planet of the Apes, during which the actors passed out from the heat, and the crash landing of the spaceship was filmed on nearby Lake Powell at Lone Rock. Other nearby sites used during the film for sets included the Colorado River and Glen Canyon. Now we'll look at horror in a small town. And the first is Bodega, California. The 1963 Alfred Hitchcock movie The Birds, in which a flock of feathered critters goes psycho, is set in Bodega Bay, California, but some important shooting landmarks can be found in the more inland town of Bodega. The Potter School, built in 1873 and now a private residence, and St. Teresa's Church, first made famous in a painting by Ansel Adams. Boat dock scenes were filmed at the Tides Wharf restaurant in Bodega Bay. Then we have Evans City, Pennsylvania. Director and screenwriter George Romero filmed both 1968's Night of the Living Dead and 1973's The Crazies in this western Pennsylvania town. Visitors to town can go to the Evans City Cemetery, where cannibalistic zombies attacked the main characters in the first film. There is also a plaque in town declaring Evans City home to Night of the Living Dead. And here we have both Estes Park, Colorado, and Mount Hood, Oregon. The Stanley Hotel, a 142-room colonial revival hotel in Estes Park, was the inspiration for the Overlook Hotel in Stephen King's novel The Shining, and was used as the filming location in the 1997 miniseries. But in the 1980 version directed by Stanley Kubrick, the Overlook Hotel was portrayed by Timberline Lodge in Mount Hood, Oregon. So there's both versions for you. Now we'll look at some international settings. And we have Flavigny-sur-Ozerain in France, with a population of 301 people. This stone-walled 10th century village was used as the town of Lascannais in the 2000 film Chocolat, based on the novel by Joanne Harris. It is not located on the water, so the river scenes in the film were shot elsewhere. The statue of the Comte de Renaud that appears in the film was made out of plastic as a prop, so you won't find it if you visit. Flavigny-sur-Ozerain has been awarded membership in Les Plus Beaux Villages de France, which is the most beautiful villages in France. Then we have Cong, Ireland. The village of Cong, Ireland served as the setting of the town of Innisfree in John Ford's 1952 classic The Quiet Man, starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, about a former boxer trying to escape his past who finds love and a bunch of memorable neighbors in his hometown in Ireland. The movie was filmed on location. Visitors today can take tours of many places in the film, as well as visit the Quiet Man Museum and gift shop. Then we have the Horai Valley in Hyogo Prefecture, Japan. Akira Kurosawa's 1958 film, The Hidden Fortress, is one of the movies that influenced George Lucas in his creation of Star Wars. In this film, set in feudal-era Japan, two peasants hungry for gold are tricked into helping a princess and her general get safely across enemy lines. The Hidden Fortress was filmed in the Horai Valley, a badlands area in Hyogo Prefecture in the Rokko Mountains. The two closest cities are Kobe and Osaka. Then we have Chanderi, India. The 2018 Hindi language film Sui Dhaga, Made in India, also released as Needle and Thread, is about a small-town couple who began their own clothing business. Chanderi, which was the main filming location, is known for its historical weaving culture and the Chanderi sari, woven from different types of fabric, silk, cotton, or silk cotton, and with traditional designs such as geometric patterns, peacocks, and flowers woven into the hemline. This is, of course, just a sampling of the movies filmed in small towns. Find these and many more in the library's collection of DVDs, Blu-rays, and e-videos. If you're looking for e-videos, you can check on Hoopla and Canopy, which are two of our downloadable services through the website. And thank you for watching. Hope you've learned a little something about movies in small towns. Hope we'll see you again soon at the library, and bye-bye for now.